Yeah, one of the worst mistakes from people pleasing is losing yourself, because the more you give up this and you do this for that person, the more you're losing bits of yourself. And when you start doing this, you may not realize how far you're willing to go to keep people in your life, because there may be something that's like, well, if I don't do this, they're going to leave. Or if I don't do this, then this negative thing is going to happen that happened in the past, and I'm thinking it's going to happen now. So we keep on people pleasing and losing pieces of ourselves until you may look in the mirror and be like, who the hell am I? Does this resonate with anyone? So if you guys are here after the live, let me know. So, yeah. It's, how much is too much? That's why it's so important to learn the difference between and kind of tease apart the difference between changing yourself to make other people happy, to please them, versus accommodating. Okay? They're really different. So if someone says, hey, you know what? Someone asks me, hey, you know what? I really love long hair. Let's say I'm dating them and they want me to grow my hair out. I'm going to say, yeah, you know what? I used to have it long, but that's just not me. Sorry, I like short hair, And if I chose not to grow my hair out long, even though they wanted it that way, because that's a choice for me, and it's a way that I like my hair short. So this is an example. And if they were like, well, okay, you want your hair short, whatever. And they can decide if that's make it or break it for them, right? But I'm not going to, because that's something important for me. Okay. And if they wanted to completely change your wardrobe, and versus listening to music in the car that they like. You see how one is like changing fundamentally who you are, and the other one is, hey, they like this, but I'm not changing anything of myself. I'm simply accommodating for what they want or what they like or their preferences. And then you can speak up and they'll do that for you. So there is a give and take there. And what happens is we're operating from fear, because there's this internal thing going on. Well, if I don't do this, they're going to leave. If I do this, they're going to leave. If I say no, if I set a boundary, if I speak up, the person's going to leave, or they're going to stop talking to me, or whatever it is. So that's motivating the behavior, the doing whatever you need to do, the twist yourself in the pretzel, the being a good girl, a good boy, to try to maintain those relationships or whatever it is in your life you're trying to maintain. And it's this delicate balance that always puts you last. And there's a term, self-abandonment, which means each time you're putting everyone's comfort and happiness first, you're abandoning yourself and what you want. And we end up living from a state of self-neglect, which means you aren't taking care of yourself, because we're prioritizing what other people want, what other people need, what makes them happy. So we come last. And guess what? Then this means you're going to end up being always exhausted, tired, burnt out. Am I wrong? Excuse me. So when this happens, when we're living from these fears, and we may not even realize that's what's happening, we're operating from fear. Okay. And hey, who's ever here? Let me know what you guys want to talk about. Well, see ya. They just dipped out. So anyways, so when we're operating from fear, okay, we're living our lives, we're just surviving. That's not a life. It's not a life to walk a tightrope of constantly gauging what you need to do to make other people happy, what you need to do to keep other people from leaving and to be happy with you. That isn't life. That's not living. I know. I spent decades being like that, and I didn't even know that I was operating out of fear. I didn't even realize it, but damn, I felt anxious all the time. I was always worried. What's the right thing to say, the right thing to do? I don't want to be wrong. And it just felt like I was stuck in this role and I didn't want to be in this role. I survived my whole life basically being a perfectionist, and which meant I was constantly focused on performance and accomplishment. And when I would accomplish things and when I would perform, it was never enough because then I had to do it the next day and the next day and the next day. And I was literally trapped, suffocating in this role. But I mean, it kept me safe for a very long time. So until I started seeing the impact that people pleasing was having on my life, on how it prevented people from actually knowing me, it kept me silent. It kept me from speaking up. It kept me suppressing myself. So you can either people please or actually speak up, use your voice, and be authentic. You can do one or the other. You can't do both. One is you're choosing to, start stepping outside of your comfort zone. Okay. And the other one is, okay, I'm going to stay and keep doing what makes me feel safe. And one's going to help you survive and one's going to help you thrive. So you're going to have to decide which way you want to live your life. Because at first we have to wake up. It's like, you're in the matrix and you're given the pill and you want to wake up. And when you wake up, you'll start to see how fear is running the show, on how every day you're showing up, the choices, decisions, the behaviors that you're doing, that's keeping this pattern happening in your life again and again and again. It's like the circular pattern in all your relationships with others, with yourself. And when you start to challenge that, reflect on it, be very honest with yourself, and see how it's playing out with how you're treating yourself, how you're treating your relationships, how you're showing up in your work, everything, then you can start to connect the dots and make choices. Hold on, my battery. So you can start actually making choices that for where you want to go, instead of staying in this circular, never-ending pit. Basically, that's going to get you nothing but pain and mediocrity. So when you start to challenge those things, but I mean, it takes a lot of courage and it takes a lot of self-reflection to do that deep inner work. And most people can't do it without a coach. So we can't really see our patterns because we're so immersed in it. And when you start seeing your patterns, you can realize, wow, I'm the one who's really getting in my way. I'm the one who keeps making these choices. And even though your situation may suck, okay, you can't change anyone else but you. So it may feel like it's unfair that you have to make the changes, but it's to get the life you want. You're doing it for you and the life you want to have. Because if you're stuck in people-pleasing patterns, you are not free. Okay? You are not free. Everything you're doing is out of fear, insecurity, anxiety, self-doubt, confusion. And the only way to get that clarity and start finding yourself again is to truly start focusing on yourself. And that can be the hardest thing when you've done your entire life, is focus on others. Hi, Dustin. What's up? I was like, when am I going to see Dustin? Where is everyone at tonight? Like, I don't understand. I didn't get to come on yesterday because my kid was sick. But you know what? I'm going to show up, okay? I do weekly lives, so I'm going to show up and do it. So, what is up, Dustin? He said, yeah, sounds good. So, how is your week going, Dustin? Mine is okay. I haven't really felt very inspired this week. Typically, I'm inspired all the time, constantly. I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to talk about tonight, just whatever people are dealing with. I started talking about people pleasing and how we lose ourselves. The more we do that, the more we put ourselves last and prioritize other people. And um, we're operating out of fear. And so, I don't know. This week's kind of been an okay kind of week. Good. Stressed out at work, right? Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I totally get that. So, we could talk about what you can do to de-stress. What are some healthy ways to de-stress? Because stress will always be present in our life in some shape or fashion. I have a stressful situation that I deal with almost on a weekly basis that I just literally had to like let go and let God, because it's not going to change on its own. So it's so very powerful to ask yourself, well, what do I have control over? Are you trying to control things that are out of your control, which makes you feel worse? It's going to keep making you feel out of control, and you're going to try harder and harder and harder and literally drive yourself crazy and get exhausted, because we shouldn't be doing that, right? But it's hard when you're in the thick of it to know, okay, what do I truly have control over and what do I just need to let go, because I can't do nothing about situations that happen in my life and about other people. I can only truly have control over me. I can influence other people, but I can't control them. Yeah. So, what do I truly have control over? The situation that I'm dealing with, I have no control over any of it. So I have to continue to let go again and again and again and again and just surrender over and over and over again. And it's a really humbling lesson that has taught me to unconditionally accept and unconditionally love in a very challenging, difficult, heart-wrenching situation that I have literally no control over. That will just, it leads to a breakdown is what happens, to where you just, the only choice I have is to surrender. Let's see. I take a power nap after work. Works on our heart is the same stuff, different. Exactly right. Yeah. Stress is unavoidable in our modern society. And most of it's caused from trying to control things that are out of our control. He says, I can pray more and reach out to God more. Exactly. Yep. That's what I've had to do in that situation, is just surrender it, because there's nothing I can do. And I know that God can. So, not to get all preachy, because I respect what other people believe, but it's nice to know that there is a power and a force out there that is stronger than you, that is in control, so that you don't have to try to control everything. Who else is here? Let me know in the chat. Oh, I cuddle with my cat during naps. So sweet. Yes. That actually does help us. It helps our nervous system, helps us bring us to the present moment when we are interacting with our animals and just petting them. And think about it, when you're petting them, are you thinking about the past? Are you thinking about the future? Are you in the present moment? That's a beautiful thing, because most of us aren't. Most of us are thinking about the past, the future, the past, the future. We're never really in the present moment. And happiness, the only way we can be happy is if we're in the present moment. And a lot of people don't know how to do that. We're either worried something may happen in the future, or we are feeling guilty and bad over something happened in our past. But the only power we have is in the present moment right now. So, Definitely. I think prayer is a big one, and knowing, well, what do I have control over and what do I need to let go of? A glass of wine. That's one of my preferred ways to de-stress. Talking about it with a friend. Exercise. Exercise was really helpful to get the anxiety, the tension out of your body. Even just going on a really fast-paced walk. Listening to music. That's one of my favorite ones. And singing in the car. That's an amazing stress reliever. Deep breathing. I talk about that a lot. Deep belly breathing. It helps you calm your nervous system, which is absolutely essential. All right. Dust says, I feel calm. I feel happy. That present moment, it seems like they don't judge when I stutter and I talk to them. Oh, you're talking about your animals. Yeah, they just love you for you. Yep. I think my cat conditionally loves me. He's a cat, but my dog, dogs are such an amazing blessing because they just love you no matter what. Like, I don't really know if humans are capable of that. I don't think so. We're too flawed. Is there anything I can help you with, Dustin, or anyone else here tonight before I go? Oh, let's see. What else are you guys dealing with tonight that I may be of help? I'll be publishing my podcast this week. I've taken a quick break, but I will be publishing another one this week. And if you guys haven't checked that out, it's called Becoming Badass in the tab where the podcasts are. So let me guys know if you need help with anything else. Excuse me. And before I get off of here tonight's just going to be a quick night. And I just wanted to stay true to my word. I said I'd come on, and here I am. Showing up, keeping our word. So important to have integrity. And that's so important that we do what we say we're going to do. And that's tough. That can be really tough. And I do my best to do that. Seems 7:30 on a Friday night might be early. Yeah. We'll see. I always come on 6 p.m. Central about that time. So typically there's more people, but you just never know. Excuse me. I typically come on Thursdays at 6 p.m. Central, but yeah, it may be early. That's true. Yeah, that's true. Today was one of those days I'm just, like, I don't really feel like it. How many times do we not feel like doing something? But you know what? I said I'd do it, so just gotta show up. Here I is. Just gotta show up, and you let God handle the rest. But yeah, typically I'm on Thursdays at 6 p.m. Central. All right. Well, I'm going to get off early tonight. You guys have an amazing night. Those who got on, let me know your thoughts and check out my past lives and also my podcast on the podcast tab. And I hope you guys have an amazing night. Have an awesome weekend and check out the new podcast I'll be dropping very soon. Have an amazing night. Bye, Dustin. Bye, future people who are going to be watching this live. Bye.